Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will explore The Depths of Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens, published in 1865, is a novel set against the backdrop of Victorian London. The story begins with a grim discovery in the River Thames and unravels into a complex tale of love, deception, and social commentary. Dickens explores the dark underbelly of society, the greed and ambition that drive individuals, and the redemptive power of love and kindness. Plot summary. In the shadowy depths of the River Thames, as evening descends, a boat drifts ominously. In it are Gaffer Hexam and his daughter Lizzie. They are river scavengers, their grim task to find bodies that have met their end in the murky waters. This night, they haul aboard the corpse of John Harmon, the wealthy heir to a fortune, whose death sets in motion a chain of events that entangle the lives of many. John Harmon, on his way back to London to claim his inheritance, was to marry Bella Wilfer, a condition of his father's will. Now, with his death, the fortune passes to the Boffins, a kind and simple couple who once served the elder Harmon. Mr. and Mrs. Boffin, suddenly thrust into wealth, navigate their new status with generosity and open hearts, contrasting sharply with the greed that swirls around them. But all is not as it seems. John Harmon is not dead. He has returned under the alias John Rokesmith, observing the lives of those around him, especially the Boffins and Bella Wilfer. He watches as the Boffins, particularly Mr. Boffin, undergo a strange transformation, feigning a miserly demeanor that disturbs Bella, who comes to detest the greed she once thought she admired. Rokesmith, in his guise, becomes Mr. Boffin's secretary, growing closer to Bella and falling in love with her. However, Bella is still drawn to the idea of wealth and initially views Rokesmith with disdain. Elsewhere in London, the social scene buzzes with the Veneerings, new-moneyed socialites who host opulent dinners and gather around them a mix of the ambitious and the frivolous. Among their circle is Eugene Wrayburn, a bored lawyer, and his friend Mortimer Lightwood. Wrayburn, with his cynical outlook on life, becomes infatuated with Lizzie Hexam, much to the consternation of Bradley Headstone, a schoolmaster whose obsessive love for Lizzie turns him into a dark, vengeful figure. Headstone's jealousy spirals into madness as he perceives Eugene as a rival, leading him down a path of violence. As Rokesmith continues his charade, he witnesses the Boffins' benevolence, even as Mr. Boffin's false miser act grows harsher. Mr. Boffin hires Silas Wegg, a one-legged street vendor, to read to him, hoping to better himself. Wegg, however, is a schemer. He discovers a supposed second will and plots to blackmail the Boffins. He becomes the embodiment of the parasitic greed that Dickens paints in the darker corners of his narrative. Bella, living with the Boffins and observing Mr. Boffin's increasing miserly ways, becomes disillusioned with wealth. When she learns of Rokesmith's love for her, she initially rebuffs him, still caught between her upbringing and her burgeoning realization that love holds more value than money. However, the coldness of Mr. Boffin's newfound greed and the warmth she feels for Rokesmith lead her to change her mind. She marries him, unaware of his true identity as John Harmon. Parallel to this is the dangerous dance between Eugene Wrayburn and Bradley Headstone. Eugene, though initially toying with Lizzie's affections, finds himself genuinely falling for her. Headstone, unable to contain his rage and jealousy, follows Eugene one night and attacks him, nearly killing him by the river. Lizzie, in a courageous act of love, rescues Eugene from the water, nursing him back to health. Eugene, moved by Lizzie's bravery and selflessness, marries her, defying the rigid class structures of the time. The climax comes when Wegg's plot is exposed. Rokesmith, having seen enough of Wegg's machinations, reveals the truth about the supposed second will, proving it to be a forgery. In a twist, Mr. Boffin reveals that his transformation into a miser was a ruse designed to test Bella's character. He had hoped to show her the ugliness of greed and the beauty of a life lived for love. Bella, who has already proven herself by choosing Rokesmith over wealth, passes this test with grace. In the end, she learns of Rokesmith's true identity as John Harmon, the man she was meant to marry all along. John Harmon and Bella find joy in their union, now free to use their wealth for good, knowing its true value. They decide to live a life not defined by riches, but by the love and generosity that have proven more precious. The Boffins, too, are vindicated as paragons of kindness and integrity, showing that wealth can be a force for good in the right hands. Lizzie and Eugene, despite their different social standings, find happiness together, challenging the rigid class norms. Bradley Headstone, consumed by his own hatred and jealousy, meets a tragic end, a cautionary tale of the dangers of unchecked obsession. Through these intertwined lives, the currents of the Thames continue to flow, a silent witness to the greed, love, redemption, and the unyielding passage of time. The river that brings death also brings life, as the characters navigate their fortunes, both literal and metaphorical, in the vast, turbulent sea of human experience. This was just one story. Charles Dickens has plenty more for you to discover. Check them out in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Charles Dickens's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.